Hey guys, Ben here and welcome back to another video on The Flash. Today we're going to be talking about some leaks. There may be a new DCTV Flash show coming out sometime in the next 5 years or so. So if you do go on to enjoy the video, please be sure to leave a like and a comment and subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future DCTV videos later this year. Okay, so as you all know, the Flash TV show ended a while ago, back in May. It's currently June, so it's been over a month since it's been finished. And we've definitely been wondering, when are we going to see the Flash next? Obviously, we're not talking about Ezra's Flash, we're talking about Grant's Flash, we're talking about, you know, that kind of continuity within DCTV rather than in the film. So they obviously set something up at the end of the Flash TV show where they introduced Max Mercury, they introduced Jess Chambers, as well as Avery Ho. But as far as we know, I don't think they're intending on making that into an actual TV show, so I wouldn't be waiting for that, although there is definitely the possibility that they could continue with that storyline in the comics in audio form. Eric Wallace, the showrunner of The Flash, previously has said he would be interested in potentially doing that, so you could see some sort of continuation. I don't think it's super likely that it's going to get a TV continuation, although they could cash in on it because the Arrowverse is very popular and seeing different versions of the Flash obviously is of interest. But we've got these leaks that we're going to be breaking down today. I'm going to leave a link in the description below. You have to take this with a big grain of salt because I can't verify the sources myself. But among the leaks, and we're going to talk about quite a lot of the leaks in this video towards the end, but first things first, we got to focus on the Flash TV show. And the leak that is coming out is actually saying that we're going to get a Flash related TV show sometime in the kind of near future, most likely to be in chapter 2 of James Gunn's DCEU, although that part isn't 100% at all. It could be in chapter 1 or it could be chapter 2, but the official title of that supposed series that we're going to be getting is The Rogues, so it would be a Flash related TV show centered around the Rogues. I'm sure most of you guys know exactly who the Rogues are. They are a group of supervillains that the Flash regularly faces off against. He calls his villains that always come back his Rogues gallery, and so that would be what the TV show would be centered around. Obviously there's lots of known characters who could show up on the show. We're going to talk about that in just a bit. But let's go into what we currently know according to this leak. So they can exclusively report that a project centered on the Rogues is in development. Obviously this is very early stages, but according to them, it'll be a crime/heist series, which makes complete sense because that's what the Rogues are. They are pretty much petty criminals that the Flash faces off against. Although some of them have powers and some of them are actually quite powerful, they never actually come together with like the biggest villainous plans. Basically not like world-ending events, but they're all about greed, they're all about, you know, getting money, they're about getting back at the Flash as well. So it being a crime or heist series just makes complete sense, and that kind of gives me an idea of who I think could be leading the Rogues. And apparently this is going to be a part of the DCU, so it's not like the Flash Rogues we've seen on the CW in the TV show. It's nothing like that. It is in fact apparently connected to James Gunn's future DCU, and this will most likely be coming out in chapter 2. Now, when is chapter 1 finishing? Well, we don't know. Superman Legacy is going to begin the new DCU, and that is going to be linked to film, TV, animation, and everything like that, so they're all going to be interconnected, and so we gotta wait a good few years. It's the first film project. There is also the Waller TV show, and there's Creature Commandos that are coming out as well. And so for chapter 1, we know that James Gunn didn't actually release all of the films and TV shows and animated projects that he wants to do in chapter 1. He said it's like part of chapter 1, so I would presume about half of it. So you're gonna get more projects, and that's gonna take us all the way up to like nearly 2030, if I'm being completely honest. And then maybe at the time of 2030, that's when we're going to be heading into chapter 2 of the DCU. Obviously that's all dependent on if everything goes according to plan and James Gunn and Peter Safran are still around. Obviously, way back when, we got a bunch of announcements about the future heading up to like 2023. You know, The Flash was supposed to originally come out in 2018. You would have a Cyborg film in like 2020 or something. Green Lantern film. You know, there was all of that, but half of that didn't actually turn out to be true. We never got a Justice League 2. We never got a lot of that, despite the fact that they intended to do that. So you have to take that also with a grain of salt, because we don't know if everything's going to go according to plan. And by the time of when this Rogue series is set to begin, will this be an important TV show to them? So they can always change their minds, but that's what I just wanted to tell you guys, because really, yes, this is great news, hearing that they are reportedly developing a Rogues TV show, but a lot can change in terms of the future. And so, yeah, what do I think about this overall? I'm super excited to get any Flash related TV show. I would really love to see this show actually come out, and I hope it comes out soon. I hope we don't actually have to wait till 2030. Obviously, this has a lot of potential. If it's linked to the DCEU, you can start building out the Flash's Rogues gallery, and also it doesn't have to be Ezra's Flash. There is actually a high chance that we don't get a Flash 2. We know that the Flash hasn't been performing as Warner Brothers intended and thought it would do. So the likelihood of getting a Flash 2 with Ezra Miller and everything pretty much the same is kind of unlikely as of right now. So if we're going into the future, heading into DCU, recasting a lot of characters, introducing a lot of new characters too, everything could change in regards to the Flash. I personally would like to see a Wally West in the DCU. That would be my best bet, just so that we can kind of take a break from Barry, go explore another Flash, and maybe have him show up in this Rogues show and he be the Flash of these Rogues rather than Barry or having Ezra around, because I just don't think it's going to benefit Warner Brothers in any way. And so I think they're going to definitely put Ezra on the back burner for now. But who could be the Rogues in this series? So obviously, as I said before, Rogues are the supervillains of the Flash, basically. There are some characters that are completely non-negotiable, like they have to show up. I think the number one Rogues character that everyone thinks of straight away is Captain Cold. Like, there's no way that they do a Rogue show and they don't have Captain Cold. Obviously, there's been different versions of Captain Cold over the years with many alternate doppelgangers, but the original Captain Cold is surely going to be one of those Rogues who would show up. And also, they're not just like a normal group of villains teaming up. It's not like the Legion of Doom. There's actually kind of like a code of conduct. You guys know, if you've seen any Flash comics or you've seen the Flash TV show, you know the way that they act is less super villainous, not really targeting people too much unless it's absolutely necessary. They are always focused on their plans, trying to rob a place, trying to break in somewhere. So it's weird. They're like the one superhero team that has some sort of a moral compass. So as I said before, I think Leonard Snart, aka Captain Cold, would definitely be the lead criminal leading the Rogues, and so joining him would probably be Mirror Master. Mirror Master is a big character in the comics. Originally debuted in 1959, he's been around nearly as long as Captain Cold, who came out 2 years before. And so Sam Scudder is a version of the character. There is multiple versions, as I said, just like Captain Cold, but the Samuel Scudder version is the original Mirror Master, so I presume that he would be used. Also, it would be sick to see a version of Gorilla Grodd show up in this TV show, and obviously the Flash TV show has shown that they can do Gorilla Grodd really well. He would basically be the brains behind this operation, whatever they're planning to do in the TV show, because Gorilla Grodd is a super intelligent telepathic gorilla. He can mind control people. He would be a great addition to the team, who would basically be orchestrating things behind the scenes whilst all of these other kind of more human-like villains go out there and do the dirty work, while he like sits back, mind controls everyone and controls things from behind the scenes. Also, Pied Piper is a big character from the comics. Hartley Rathaway, we've seen him in the TV show. Obviously, he turned good in the TV show, but this would be a different version of Hartley Rathaway. He's been around for a long time too. They're all pretty much OGs, the people that I'm talking about right here. And so I'm pretty sure that you will see Pied Piper show up at some point. He uses sound as a weapon, and I'm sure you guys remember him on The Flash. He was actually in the final season. Okay, so the Weather Wizard is probably someone else that would show up. Actually, Weather Wizard was the OG villain on the Flash TV show, so it would be nice to see a new iteration in live action once again. Listing off a few other characters that could potentially show up, Captain Boomerang is definitely up there. He's one of the more popular villains here, just because he's shown up in the Suicide Squad film. He was also in Arrow, and we saw a new version on The Flash Season 9 recently. Like the other villains, there are many different versions of the character. There is Digger Harkness, who is the original Captain Boomerang, and another iconic villain that could join the team would be the Trickster. We've seen Mark Hamill play the Trickster on the Flash TV show. Wouldn't it be insane to see him show up in the TV show? It would be a great callback, because he was also in the 90s show as the same kind of character. But let's list off just a couple of last villains that could potentially show up. Heatwave is huge. Normally, along with Captain Cold, there's always Heatwave, you know, ice and fire, they go well together, and so he's one of the top rogues. Also, there is the Top, who is a character that you might remember from the Flash TV show. She's shown up quite a lot over the years. Abracadabra, also seen in the Flash TV show, is a big character. Golden Glider and Rainbow Raider are two very possible options, although they are a bit less popular than the other ones that I've listed off throughout this, I guess mainly because they only came to fruition in the 70s and 80s, like quite a decent chunk later than all those other villains from the Rogues. But what would you guys think about this? Would you be excited to have a Flash TV show once again, but it mainly be about the Rogues, and maybe a version of the Flash that they face off against could be in the show? Obviously, the Rogues would be the main focus. They would be sort of like anti-heroes really, because they're not heroes and they're not true supervillains. So definitely the heist aspect of the show would be interesting. We have some more leaks in regards to this blog post. We're going to go through a couple of them just because I think you guys will be interested. We got some Superman Legacy, another DC TV show, some unverified claims. In the post is as follows. Apparently Eve Tessmacher may be in the Superman Legacy film that James Gunn is going to be directing. Also unverified, Mr. Terrific could be in Superman Legacy, and he has a very comic accurate design based on concept art. But then some verified claims according to the report, but again take it with a grain of salt because the film isn't coming out for years and we don't know if this is actually going to turn out to be true. But although reported by Deadline that shortlists for Superman and Lois have been made in regards to Superman Legacy, we can report Gunn has shortlists for Lex, Hawksmoor, the Engineer, Eve Tessmacher, and a Doctor as well. So those characters are going to be cast pretty soon along with Superman and Lois. And so Superman and Lois will be screen tested this weekend, that being the actors that are on James Gunn's shortlist, followed by the actors for Lex Luthor in a few weeks. Callbacks are taking place for other roles, as we just mentioned, and Gunn is set on finding a young redhead for the role of Jimmy Olsen, so it wouldn't be more like Macabre Brooks' version of the character in Supergirl. It would be more like the kind of traditional Jimmy Olsen from the comics with the red hair. So we got some updates in regards to the Waller TV show. This is set in the new DCEU. It's going to be coming pretty early on. Apparently, actress Danielle Brooks has signed on to the TV show to star alongside Viola Davis. We've seen her before in Peacemaker. She was one of the main characters on the show. So you're going to see Danielle Brooks as one of the leads in Waller, I guess because she is part of the kind of Task Force X framework and she's going to be working closely with whatever Waller's going to be doing in the show. So that's the leaks for today. That's all we got time for. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this video and I hope I've informed you well. Obviously this is leaks, so don't take it with 100% certainty. Nothing has been absolutely confirmed. Things will change. But for now, if you enjoyed it, please be sure to leave a like and a comment. It really helps out the channel. Also subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future videos. And for now, click on the top right corner of the screen to watch my latest video, and I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.
I see red.